Good morning, everybody. Eric Mashinsky here, almost noon Eastern Standard Time on Friday, February 2nd. And I thought it would be a good time to go through a little bit of the activity in the cryptocurrency space that we have seen last night, this morning, and in recent weeks. For some reason, on this new fancy laptop that I have, I cannot share my screen in a way where it actually fits for you to see it. So I'm going to have to post in this YouTube the comment boxes, and also alongside of any emails that I send out, I'm going to have some charts in there for you to look at that I'm going to reference. And a couple of these with some commentary I think will be very helpful, but let me just roll through it here. I'm going to give you hopefully you can pull them up while we're talking, but essentially what we've got with Bitcoin, and I think I said this with Premium and or also on our Facebook Premium group this last week that I was looking for, I had bids in limit orders on GDAX, the exchange that Coinbase owns. You can put in limit orders, just like a stock. You can sit there for 60 days, which is very, very helpful. So I had limit orders in from 8,000 to 8,200, and I had gotten out of some of my trading positions a couple of weeks ago or somewhere around there. I lightened up, not my core holdings, but my trading that I had put on after the pullback, kicked into gear. And so I was feeling like we needed to go lower. And a part of that is you look at these trend lines, and you're going to see this with this one particular image, which is really just the 2017 uptrend line. And what we saw last night was a flush down to 7,400, and then a very quick reversal and a pop back up, and now we're already back. It's up 20% from the lows in less than 20 hours, back over 9,000. And really, you know, this is this confluence that we're seeing in the moving average, key moving average, 200-day moving average, the for those of you that follow Fibonacci, retracement levels, which I do. You know, I pay attention to that on particularly steep pullbacks, quick pullbacks that we're going to see after a big run up. 61.8% is really the most severe that you get on a Fibonacci retracement level. We hit it to the T at 7,400. I mean, it was right there, like literally within dollars, maybe $10 or something on Bitcoin to the T, 61.8% retracement from the highs, from low to high, and then that retracement. So really nailed it, bounced off of that number. That's why the Fibonacci's, you see this happen a lot. You know, the bounces come right on these various levels. I think there's 4 levels, and this one was the most severe, and which makes sense because the run-up was so severe. And then what we have as well, you'll see in the chart that the 200-day moving average also, the confluence is, it's right above 7,400. And so we flushed below that briefly, it recaptured it immediately. We also have, there's a flag pattern that's happening on this pullback, which you see me talk about a lot. There's like a channel after this big run up, then there's this pullback, which can lead to that next run up. And what you want to see is you want to see the channel maintained. If it breaks below the bottom channel trend line, it's very bearish. If it breaks above it, it's extremely bullish. People make livings of hundreds of thousands of dollars a year at home, professional traders, just on this technical pattern, just buying the breakouts, selling the breakdowns. It's very, very reliable. When you get a bull flag breakout or breakdown, I play it a lot. So, you know, you got to look at all this stuff with people say, oh, the charts and, you know, what are you going to learn on the charts? And everybody's got a different opinion. Well, I use stuff that I know that works. That's worked for me in 20-year career trading. So that's what I look at. You can look at whatever you want, or you can think that it's all nonsense, but you'll find that these things are very reliable to a degree because you don't know exactly what's going to end up happening when these different targets are hit. All you can do is put the odds in your favor that you're buying near the lows of the channels, you're buying near support levels, you're buying in this case, the reason I'm really bullish, and I woke up this morning and I was extremely bullish on cryptocurrencies, is because we have a huge confluence of factors in that 7,400 level that were just hit, and now we're getting a powerful rally above it, which is very, very bullish, at least in the short term. Was this the bottom of Bitcoin in this big pullback? Was it the bottom? I don't know the answer to that, but I actually think the odds are better than 50%. And in the short term, I don't think that we're going to see Bitcoin hit 9,000 this morning and then roll right back over. I think we're going to see more upside, which is why I'm putting money to work in the altcoins. When I woke up this morning, we weren't rallying this high, but I looked at what was going on and saw that I got filled on GDAX on a lot of limit orders. And then I just, right away, I had some cash. I put it into Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin. Now I'm in the process of moving money. I want to move the money into Bitcoin, not in my savings or trading for Bitcoin, because I've got that mostly covered, but to send the Bitcoin to another exchange to buy the altcoins that I like, the lower price, more speculative ones. You can't really put dollars in there to fund the exchanges. So you send literal cryptocurrencies. So I'm going to do that to two of my other exchange accounts. And really what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to look to buy about a 50% increase in my positions across the board in all the alts that I already own. And then another 50%, which would take it up to the total exposure that I have in altcoins to this point. I'm going to put that to work in some of the ones that I've been watching that I want to own that I just didn't pull the trigger on before. Things like Dash, Monero, Salt, some other ones that are even smaller. I'm going to load up on these right now. This is my plan. These accounts should be funded by Monday. So if it bounces more, it doesn't bother me. I would love for them to stall a little bit here and take a breather, but the alts are going to take a moment to catch up anyway. So I think it's a perfect time I might even sell some of my Bitcoin that I'm up 15, 20% on in less than 12 hours, just to take some profits and get started on the altcoin coins later today, especially if it keeps going up a little bit. But it's a beautiful looking chart, guys. This cryptocurrency thing, the hype got way overextended late last year. Too many newbies coming in, too much froth in the market. And these markets have a way of correcting themselves. And, the teacher of the stock exchanges carries a big stick. And it's not exactly easy. Ask anybody who just piled in on the hype in the last 90 days. If at best they're disillusioned, people that are new to this game. At worst, they're losing their house or their wife or something because it's a big pullback. You lose half your money in like a month and a half, and then you sell it at the bottom because you're freaking out, and then it goes and rips higher. It's suicide type temptation. So that's what people are dealing with right now. We are in a very favorable position because when I look at my positions as well on things like Litecoin, I started buying it at 58, 57, 56. It's down to, let's see, today, it flushed all the way, and I love Litecoin, by the way, I still do. It flushed all the way to 100 last night. It's at 132 right now. But what the funny thing is with this stuff, in 1 month, Litecoin is down from almost 300 to one, it's just gotten killed. It's gotten smoked. But if you look at the 1 year chart, where Litecoin started the year 1 year ago, $3.78, and it's at 132. It's all about perspective in this stuff. And I just don't think that, I think the cryptocurrency world, like say for example, if last month was the ultimate top and we saw the top and then this is the bubble bursting. If that's the case, you're still going to get a violent rally pretty soon here. Could be the start of it right now. So this is a trader's heaven. You can make a lot of money in the cryptos. They're moving much, much more than in the, even the gold and silver area. I had a text today from one of the members who was like, after all this crypto volatility, the junior mining market is like a walk in the park. And he's right. But this is good stuff, guys. I'm actually very excited to be buying these things on sale. And it comes back to the mentality of being a winner or being a loser in investing and trading. There are some very basic, the thing with trading and investing is it's not complicated, typically not complicated. It's very simple, but can we follow along with those simple disciplines, those simple principles? It's not as easy as it seems. I mean, most people lose money in this stuff, especially when you get into the very, very volatile and lower end of the market that we play in the junior minors. You know, these are situations that, you know, it's not for the faint of heart. But that said, you have to, like today when I woke up, I'm thinking to myself, okay, Bitcoin had the flush that I was looking for. And there's reason to just sit and not do anything. And that's what I've been doing the last, you know, week or two, just kind of saying, hey, I don't know what's going on here. I'd rather see a little bit of a fearful capitulation. And, you know, a lot of that happened overnight, probably a lot of Asian people that got scared out of this thing that came in that were new because they own more of it than the West. So it makes sense that a low would be hit in the middle of the night for us, by the way. But, you know, this is stuff where you have to have the ability to rally your mind and bring enthusiasm when things are down like this and scary. And you have to have the discipline, A, to take action, B, to really visualize, even just remember what it was like, this environment 30, 60 days ago, the enthusiasm when things were climbing. The emotions, the feel, the energy was completely different than it is now. And these are the markets. If you could simply just train yourself and develop the habit of buying when energy and sentiment and consensus is very low, and selling some. Selling's the hardest part about this game. I'm convinced there's really no doubt about that. Buying stuff at the right prices actually isn't really very hard. You know, like some of the mining stocks that we're buying, like gold and silver, some of these that are so cheap, I'm not worried about making money on them. That's in the bank. But the question is going to be, where do you sell them? You know, does gold go to 3, 4, 5,000 and you take a 10-cent stock? I'm going to put a video about being successful with this stuff and how to do it this weekend. Hopefully even today I'm going to shoot it. I had the idea yesterday just to try to help really put some perspective in how to ensure your success in the gold mining and especially the junior mining market, and treating it like a venture capital portfolio and how those different ways of things can shake out and what most likely will shake out in terms of the percentages of the deals that will actually end up working out versus not working out. And we're going to run some numbers that are going to show you that you can have a bunch of losers and still make a fortune as long as your big winners are actually huge winners. And that's what we do at the Gold Investment Letter and in the junior mining stocks. And it's, you know, this newsletter is not just for the junior miners, but obviously I focus a lot on that because I think we can add value there by finding some of these plays that are undiscovered and that we can add value to in various ways. But anyway, before I go back to the crypto, I just wanted to bring in one other. I'm going to put this chart in here too. Garibaldi, I got an email today, and I'm not picking on you, Brian, but I'm going to read your email verbatim. And I think this is just me really trying to reframe this whole situation, because some people are so stuck in the weeds. You're worried about what happened last week, this week, next week. What's going to happen on the news? Is there news? Screw your freaking news. What do you think? So for Garibaldi, let's use like some of these gold juniors. Is Southern Silver going to turn around? What's wrong with this one or that one? What's going to happen? Is there news soon? Listen, when the gold bull market and the mining market kicks into gear and breaks out here above 1,400 on gold, and then we have a game on situation, you're not going to want to sell these stocks for a long time, because you need to let time build the bigness, the scope of the winners that you're going to have, the 5, 10, 20, 50, 100 times your money, you have to be patient anyway. So, you know, maybe you feel better, but that's the only real difference. That's the only real difference. And you have to put things in perspective, which is what I want to do here with this Garibaldi. He said, could you please update me on GGI? It seems that every time that you refer to upcoming drill results, which always seem very positive, the stock begins a fairly steep dive. I do talk about upcoming drill results because we were curious about what they found in that critical first batch of 14 or so holes. But that's not really my MO with GGI, and I'll get to that in a second. The most recent drill results of January 25 were again followed by steady declines. Are you able to rationalize these results, and are you still very bullish on the stock? Possibly negative drill results would increase the price. LOL. He's joking around here, and I think that, you know, in fairness, you can ask what's what, but let's take a step back, and I'm also going to attach a GGI 2-year chart. If you became aware of, this is what's really interesting to me, and people don't talk about this very much. It's about where you become aware of an opportunity that limits your perspective to what's going on. However, for example, we were buying, particularly Metallis. GGI it blew up quick back in July of last year when the stock was actually, if you can believe this, and we're talking about July. We're talking about 6-7 months ago. This is not a long time ago, friends. This is a very, very short time ago. And you could have been buying this stock. It was dead with no volume at 14, 15 cents a share. And then it exploded the last week in July and went to a high of 28 cents. And then the next week it exploded even more and went to a high of 51 cents. So essentially tripling in 2 weeks. And that started what was going to be a multi-month run all the way to $5 a share. So let's just say you've got a stock that went from 15 cents to $5. 15 times 5 times. So you're talking about 5. Sorry, my calculator's a little slow. Divided by 1.5. 33-fold. Let's call it 30-fold. So if you were in Garibaldi and you were one of these people, so here's the irony of this whole thing, is that some of these stocks that we have that we're sitting in forever and just waiting for them to work out. Oh my God, I'm in Gungnir, and it went from half a penny to 20 cents, 21 cents. Now it's back at 10. I didn't sell it. I should have sold it. You know, and you go through this mental masturbation about what could have been, should have been, and that's fine. But listen, let's put it all in perspective. With Garibaldi, this is a situation, and I was just getting that reference in there because all of a sudden things can change. This is what I'm talking about, especially in the mining industry. Discoveries drive stocks and have been proven in the mining sector to drive the biggest movement in junior mining stocks throughout the duration of a discovery cycle. So Garibaldi, finally people picked up. There was actually some evidence before this that they had something special, but then it started to come out pretty quick that they had a very, very unique nickel deposit on their hands at Nickel Mountain. And we saw an absolute explosion. So you go up 30-fold, and now we're at 226. So the stock is off 50%, okay, 50, 60%. So if you were one of the guys or ladies that had the unfortunate day where you were going around your news, or your buddy at work said, you better buy this Garibaldi, it's at 5. I just bought it at 4 and I'm up already in 2 days, 25%, it's going to 10. And then you bought it at that time on a whim or on a tip or whatever. And now you're thinking that this is a POS stock, and is this valid, or can you rationalize the drill results? The drill results don't need rationalization. I know there's some of these geologists that are out there that are really hating on Garibaldi to the point where, you know, some of these guys, and they're credible people, are calling it a scam. I actually think it's very, very dangerous game to play where you're going to become a professional hater on another stock that you don't own, unless you do think that there's a fraud and you want to protect people. There's absolutely no evidence, zero whatsoever, of anything like that in this case with Garibaldi. And in fact, if you end up being wrong, and this thing ends up becoming enormously valuable and huge, like I think it's going to be, like Eric Sprott thinks it's going to be, like the guys from Bull Market Run who found this first think it's going to be, and they're the ones, actually, guys, that are up, they went up 30-fold and continue to hold most of it and still are buying it today. Which, I've done that and been wrong, holding it too tight, too close to the vest. But these guys are actually very hands-on with research and have been to all over this area in these camps and are convinced that this thing is just getting started. And so am I. And so, obviously, so is Eric Sprott. So basically, you've got three groups of professional investors, Sprott obviously being the least worthy of paying any attention to, obviously. But these, these three groups are the investment groups, are not geologists. And you have a lot of these geologists that are coming out and really poo-pooing the way that they released no drill map, things like that. But look at these grades. And I really find it ironic and funny that people start to talk about how this is not going to be a viable deposit when they've only put 14 holes in the ground. There's not enough information there whatsoever to start brushing this off, because people are thinking about something that they have a reference to with nickel or certain deposit types, when this is the first major discovery of high-grade nickel copper in the Golden Triangle. It's all been high-grade gold. And so this is a new deal, guys. You have to keep that in mind. So anyway, what I'm getting at here, you'll see it on this chart, is perspective. If you bought it at 15, 20, 50 cents and it went to 5 and it came back to 2.5, you would say, shit, I should have took more off, or I should have sold some, but you wouldn't be freaking out. And if you bought it at 4 or 5 and you're freaking out now and you're really feeling down about it, that's really only because of the timing and that you had awareness of the opportunity and or decided to act. If you ended up waiting, you learned about this when it was much cheaper, and you waited until it went up for 12 weeks in a row and then bought it on the 13th week, you have nobody to blame but yourself. And I think that at that point, you have to ask yourself, where's your head at? Get your head screwed on straight. Otherwise, you're never going to make any money. No newsletter writer is going to make you money. You're a mess. Get your shit together. But the reason I'm getting into this is because it comes down to perspective with gold, with Garibaldi and Metallus. These stocks went up so much so fast. You need digestion periods. You need to shake out the hot money. You need to get the frothiness out of the market to allow them to go higher. And that's what's happening with the cryptocurrencies, I think, as well. Clearly, it had to happen. It got way, way too ahead of itself. The enthusiasm was very high. But what the enthusiasm did for me in the big run is it opened my eyes, and it actually forced me, because this hit a public tipping point, it forced me to go ahead and learn about it, learn about the sector and figure out, how big is this thing going to be? How much is this going to affect our lives? Is this Internet 2.0? Is this really going to be something that disrupts the entire system? And I think it actually is. I don't think this is going to go away. This is a big deal. Yes, regulation is starting to come in. There's been some other bad news in the space. People always want a reason. What's the reason why it's down? What's the reason that this is doing something today? These are stocks and cryptocurrencies and futures and options and bonds. They trade, they fluctuate. That's what they're supposed to do. They develop patterns of movement. And that's a function of, yes, there's news and things that drive these on a day-to-day basis, but taking a step back and really gaining perspective, I think, is very, very important. And so I wanted to put this out today just because I'm extremely bullish on Garibaldi and Metallus. I've talked about this clearly, and it's just tough to get people to act when things are down. It's just that's the way of the world. It's very difficult. It's like squeezing that little drop of juice out of the orange by me pounding the table on things when I know that they're cheap and it's the right time to be buying. People won't necessarily listen to that because maybe I was also talking about it bullishly at a higher price. So then the baby goes out with the bathwater, and then it's it's completely negated. But that's not how it is. You have to train yourself, and you have to make your own decisions. You have to be responsible for your own decisions. We give you the information as best we can, but I try to get more aggressive when things are down. You'll notice that this is kind of my style. I end up getting more vocal on things when I just feel like I have to get people into action when it's hard to get them into action. And then when things are flying, I try to be more cautious, much more cautious. I'm not going to tell you when everything is roaring higher to put your, go mortgage your house out and buy Bitcoin at 18,000. I brought awareness to Ethereum and Litecoin because I was buying them, and I brought awareness to Bitcoin too, but I bought it at $460 and sold it at, what was it, 2,500 or something like that, and shorted it to 1,900, got very lucky before getting my face ripped off. And then I was neutral, and then I didn't get back in until it went to 12,000, came back to 9, and I started buying Bitcoin back. But so, I mean, I've made money in cryptos, no question. It's been very profitable so far. And I'm getting more comfortable with having more and more money in this space. And I would just encourage you, in summary, if you were intrigued by this area and you were thinking about, okay, I need to open a cryptocurrency account and have some exposure in it, and you thought that 30 days ago because everything was going up every day, you should take twice the time and effort to make that happen now, because prices are half as cheap. They're down over 50% in a short period of time, and you have to force yourself to take action when you don't feel like it. And when you really want to and you're being pulled by greed and enthusiasm, sometimes that works out, but it's generally contrarian action, contrarian thought to emotion that ends up making money consistently in the market to a degree. You do have to be flexible. But what I'm getting at is I bought a lot more cryptos last night, today. I'm moving money from a brokerage account to get Bitcoin funded to send to these altcoin exchanges to basically double my position in cryptocurrencies from last night to next week-ish. Maybe it will total be, I don't know, 75% or something that I'm putting in there. But I'm very excited about it, and I think that you guys may want to consider getting some exposure to Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash. U.S. investors can do so through Coinbase.com. There are other ways to do it. Goldmoney.com has the ability to buy and sell some cryptocurrencies if you go through their holding process, which is a real pain in the ass, if you ask me, but they have people doing it. They have record revenue from this just in 7 weeks. They saw a lot of transaction, and I do believe they're a trusted custodian. There's other ways to do it. Gemini, which is owned by the Winklevoss twins. Quadriga is one that some Canadians seem to like. So, you just have to get, and that's the reason why I don't think this is a top as well, because as much hot money, new money that came into this area, most people don't even know how to buy cryptocurrencies, especially the small ones. It's got to become easier for people to just say, look, I want to buy this. And then they send the money from their bank to an exchange to buy it, boom, bing, bang. And people understand how to do it. And in this case today, it's very tough. You have to do some work, which is why I don't think it's over, or one of the signs from a psychological perspective. But in any event, that's it for today, guys. I hope this helps some of you. And as far as Garibaldi's concerned, don't worry about it.